It's Monday and time for the Back to Business podcast, featuring Calgary's industry leaders. Welcome today's show host, Kim Hayden.
Today's guest, Matt Booth, is here visiting from the Pomeroy Kananaskis. Matt's the sales manager over there, and he's in here visiting the Calgary Petroleum Club going, what can we do together? So stick around. This episode has got a lot of treats in it. But first, our land acknowledgement.
In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Siksika, Ga'aina, Piikani, the Tsutena, the Eahe Nakota Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta.
Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing to be here.
It'd be even more amazing if we were out where you're coming from. I'm super excited to start digging in.
I am too.
So first of all, Matt, give us a little bit of a breakdown as to who is Matt. I know that like your general bio says you live in Canmore and you like to bike ride and all this other stuff, but give us a bit more background on who is Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how detailed are we talking?
Well, let's not go back to your great grandparents.
Okay. I've worked in the hospitality industry for about the last decade or so, a little bit longer than that. And so through a variety of different departments, I started at Fairmont out in Jasper, beautiful Rocky Mountains. And so I'm basically starting there. Worked in golf, worked at the famous Jasper Park Lodge golf course, and then worked through food and beverage and, security. At one point, I almost went into the RCMP. I have a long walk of life of different jobs, but eventually I got into that sales and events world. And, I've loved it. It's just, I love the option and the ability to just connect with people on a really personal basis, And I think hospitality has given me that opportunity to do so. And so, I'm fortunate enough, I think, throughout my life to meet so many wonderful people and from many walks of life. And I have hospitality to thanks for that. And so, from when I was really young, I just loved connecting with people on a personal note. And I thought, how can I leverage that into a career? And so that's brought me to working out here in Kananaskis. We're not there right now, but that's.
I know. I love Kananaskis. I love the Pomeroy. So you have a background with Marriott, but now you're with the Pomeroy, which is an autograph collection of Marriott.
Correct,
okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted, first of all, shed a little light for those who have not been to the Pomeroy as of yet, Pomeroy Kananaskis.
Correct.
Tell us, what can somebody expect from the Pomeroy Kananaskis?
Yeah, so we're a 4-diamond resort coming out to the Pomeroy Kananaskis Mountain Lodge. It's newly renovated and finished in 2018. And more to touch on that, we have, we're renovating right now another building out there. But in order to become a Marriott Autograph Collection hotel, prior to that, it was the Delta. Many of the listeners likely refer to it as. In order to get up to essentially that standard, we really had to put in a lot of money into the hotel and into the resort as a whole, and so redid all of the restaurants, all the guest rooms, all of the event space, and so we really have a top-notch product to offer out there. And over and beyond that, if ever anyone is familiar with the Kananaskis Nordic Spa, and that's owned and operated by Pomeroy. It's just a phenomenal place to really get out to when it comes to sort of a retreat location, and really just a place to disconnect and connect with events and conferences. You really have the option to do it all. You have all the on-site catering components that you'd expect anywhere, any top-notch resort location, it's amazing. It's great to be part of that.
The Nordic Spa is absolutely a must for anybody who is visiting, anybody who lives here, anybody who wants to be married 30 years. Just saying. But I think one of the things that really impressed me about the Pomeroy group, which if we broke this all the way down, is really a family.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
They really took a lot of great strides to ensure that as many Albertans were employed in the remodeling of the Pomeroy. Yeah. So can you walk us through kind of like what the policy and what the Pomeroy, like what is going on behind the scenes? We all check in and enjoy the spa and the great food. What really is that?
Well, I think, from this is my own perspective, but I think they go, to the next level when it comes to really trying to ensure that, as you say, Albertans are employed and involved in, whether it be the renovations or the work that goes on, especially behind the scenes. Even on property, so many Albertans work out in Kananaskis, and you see that when you check in. You see that when you're going to, sort of, as you say, as soon as you drive in there and you stop and you get out of your car, there's somebody there to greet you. Whether that's somebody from Alberta, there's so many people in the industry that are from all over the world, but they come to Kananaskis, and Pomeroy Lodging provides a place for them to, whether they're staying at the staff accommodations out there. It's really a wonderful place to meet. But yeah, to your point, I think the Pomeroy family really has a legacy, like with bringing Kananaskis up to speed. When that lodge is picturesque. I mean, it's the closest mountain destination to an international airport within Alberta, within the Rockies. And it's hard to say because I almost said anywhere in Canada, and I all that comes to mind is the distance between Vancouver sometimes to Whistler. To see the sky, it can take some time, but what I refer to as the highway coming out to Kananaskis is just a long driveway. It's so personal. It's you get out there and you really are immersed among the mountains and nature, and yeah, I love it personally.
And so let's talk the spa, because the spa was a huge endeavor, and it was a bit of a partnership, and everybody come together because correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the only one of its kind at that time when it was put in Alberta.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So let's first of all bring us up to speed. Okay. What is a Nordic spa?
A Nordic spa is a combination of cold pools. You have that cold and hot pools. You have a mixture. I can go on to detail of what really is a Nordic spa, and then what the Nordic spa out in Kananaskis has to offer. But essentially, it's a combination of cold and hot pools, as well as steam rooms and saunas, and you have the exfoliation cabins. So it's that component of being able to mix all that, and it's outdoors as well. So that's what really makes it that special place that you've come to love. Hopefully, if you've been out there, and I think that you could potentially build a Nordic spa, but it's really the location where it's at. Like if you're out smack dab in the middle of the mountains and maybe you're lying out in the pool and you're hopefully relaxed, but when you look back and all you see above you is these grandiose mountains and landscapes, it really brings you down to earth.
It is phenomenal. Yeah. So you had the hot, and then you have the cold, and then you have the gathering pool, correct? The larger one.
Yeah. So you have specifically you have that cold plunge, the waterfall out there.
Yes.
And you dunk your head under there, and then you have the gathering pool. It's a larger pool right when you enter the spa, and then you actually have a mixture of different pools scattered throughout the Nordic spa itself. Whether that be the hottest of the pools to the gathering pool, which is sort of mid-temperature, and then you have your banyan sauna, you have your Finnish sauna, you have full exfoliation cabins, you have your eucalyptus steam room.
Yes, the steam rooms are nice.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And then you actually have sort of a rotating sort of essential oil. So at Christmas time, usually that's like a Christmassy flavor that you go in there and you smell, and yeah, it's a wonderful, magical place to be.
And if I remember correctly, because it's been a little while, by the way, we'll just plant the seed to my husband out there. Like I said, 30 years,
yeah.
robes, towels. Like, tell us a little bit about, the experience.
The
You go
experience
out.
itself, absolutely. I know the process to get to the point of where we're at with the robes, for example. They went through so many different designs, and it was just amazing to sort of even get a glimpse into that, into the thought process behind all that. Because as you say, you arrive and you get there, and it's not something that pops to mind. I wonder how many different robes they went through, or how many different design elements, and the people who are creating these things in the back end. So part of the experience, you arrive, you check in at the front desk counter, you get that special wristband that goes, you just wrap it around your wrist, and that allows you to access your locker. Inside that locker, you have your nice big robe, and depending on the time of the season, it's going to be really thick or a little bit lighter. And then you have your essential oils, and that changes. So that's essential scrub, and that's for the exfoliation cabin. And you also have your slippers and a towel. So with all those things combined, that sets you up for success when you enter the spa. And then you can make your way, as you please. I know that we've adjusted it, but I believe hot or warm, hot, cold, rinse, repeat. But I might be butchering that, so it kind of changed over time. It changes with the science too. If you're an advocate, where if you listen to a lot of podcasts, whether that be like Huberman or Joe Rogan, et cetera, all those they always have those guests on that talk about sort of the benefits that come with the wellness, saunas and steamers and all those things that come to pass. So yeah.
And then when we come back in, food. Let's talk food. Because Pomeroy, I remember being out there right when it first opened in 2018. And as I mentioned before the show, the cheese pizza with the honeycomb drizzle was what we all ended up with. And it was phenomenal. And they still have it, which is amazing. Yeah. But there's food. There's all sorts of, like, in the spa still. There's absolutely. Two Trees Bistro is the bistro out there in the Nordic Spa. So it's private to those people in the spa itself, which is a nice component. Some of the special sort of dishes that come out of there are made by her name is Paula, and she's our pastry chef, and she specializes in sort of vegan dishes and all sorts, and actually has her own cake business outside of work, and is just phenomenal. So some of the people that are bringing in these very creative dishes are to thanks for this. And to that point, actually, Pomeroy itself takes a really, sort of strong interest into making sure that food is phenomenal. Because if you're coming out to the mountains, you want to know that, if the restaurants are essentially owned and operated by Pomeroy Lodging out there, you want to make sure that food is great, because, you're going out to a mountain destination, and, you have a 4-diamond resort, you have all the things that you want. You got to make sure that food is phenomenal. So to your point, the fresh sourdough pizzas in Forte Restaurant. If you go to Cedar Room or Blacktail Bar, you have an array of choices out there, and that's, to me, it's very important, because hospitality food is such a big component of that. So we've talked about the spa itself. Now, I do want to mention here at the club, the club has entered into some sort of partnership with the spa or promotion. What's going on there?
So I'm hopeful. It's still in the works right now. We're chatting about it, and I would love to in the future work with the members here. It's such a phenomenal membership base that you have here. I believe it's around 3,000 people, and a lot of these professionals and just people from all walks of life. I'd love to be able to do something with them. So fingers crossed, we have something in the works, and
we'll keep our fingers crossed, and we'll let you guys know when this one does come. But do go out and check it out. Now, a couple things, if I remember correctly, I may be wrong. So, and folks, it's like this is the pre-COVID brain here. Pets. You guys have some pet-friendly rooms, and you have some family-friendly rooms. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So actually, family-friendly rooms and activities. Kananaskis is known for its family activities. There's a water park out there. It's just amazing if you have kids. But yeah, family-friendly rooms. There's essentially a two queens in one room. Then you have a connecting king room. That's our family room or family suite, as you'd like to call it. And Kananask Kids is our kids programming. And so we have a family activities department on property, and they deal with an array of activities and options for kids to kind of get out to with their families. There's paint and sip for those looking to kind of have a little artsy evening. And there's actually a whole calendar on our website that you can visit and sort of plan your activities ahead of time to know what's going on within the lodge in the area. There's a lot of options to get out there, especially with your kids. So.
Yeah. I tried the fat bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I almost killed myself. Just letting you know, fat bikes are not for a weak of heart or uncoordinated.
Outfitters,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We did the fat bike, and I almost ran into a tree. But and if you don't know what a fat bike is, it literally is a bike that you can ride in.
It's like a monster truck as a bicycle.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And if you're not a coordinated individual like moi, you may want to skip the fat bike and just stick with the gathering pool. One of the things that really impressed me was, when you have the greeting basket when you come into the room, and I had all these brands I'd never seen before, like little chocolates and crackers, and I'm going, but they were all here. Yeah. So how does that work? Like, you guys, are you actively sourcing?
There is a large focus actually on sourcing local ingredients and local suppliers, whether that be sort of in merchandising at the spa or even at the hotel. We just opened up, our gift shop actually just in the past few months. That's just located right across from Market Cafe, and this is a variety of different options there for merchandising. Brands located even out of BC as well as Alberta. It's phenomenal. So there's a lot of thought that goes into sort of those amenities and those special sort of gifts and things and whatnot that we give out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I showed up and there was a tartan, like the tartan signature colors for the Pomeroys, and just it's I have to say those special details. I remember all of them because they say people don't remember what you say to them, but how you make them feel.
Yes. Okay. I love that. Yeah. I mean, that speaks to hospitality and the industry as a whole, I think. There's a lot of thought that goes into those curated, those crafted gifts, especially from a sales standpoint, because we want to represent the area when we're trying to win over those potential clients, wherever they may be. And part of that is working with local suppliers and working with Alberta-based businesses. And being an Alberta-based business, Pomeroy Lodge, that's such a great thing to bring to the table to say, you have Pomeroy Lodging, the Kananaskis Mountain Lodge, owned and operated, through an Alberta-based business and ownership is something that, a lot of other companies in the area might not be able to bring to the table, but that you can. And so that's definitely a benefit for sure.
So do you still offer conference space? Because if I remember correctly, you guys have a room that can outfit 500 people or something like that.
Yeah. So the Olympic Ballroom, named after the 1988 Winter Olympics, actually, which was why the lodge was built in the first place back in 1986. We have a 500-person ballroom, 5,700 square foot ballroom to be exact. Over and beyond that, we have tens of thousands of square footage of function space. We actually have another ballroom, which is the Mount Kidd Ballroom. So there's, just to give you a little history or understanding of Kananaskis, there's 3 buildings out there. And so I believe it was in 2002, we had the G8 Summit. And so that was actually held in Kananaskis. And so during that time, they built underground tunnels to each of the buildings so you can connect, and our staff use them, and then guests can use them. They're connected through parking garage. So you have the 3 buildings out there, which are the Pomeroy Kananaskis Mountain Lodge and what used to be called the Crosswaters Resort, up and coming. That's our brand new Black Diamond Club that opens up in April. And then the 3rd building is Mount Kidd Manor. And then you also have Kananaskis Outfitters, and that's where you got that fat tire bike.
That I almost died on.
Yeah. You can get e-bikes too, and they're a little bit quicker. So just, they have lots of options there. Phenomenal outfitters if you're ever looking for any rentals or guided hiking tours, all the sorts. And then there's actually a post office. So being such a remote location, we have a post office that's operated right out of Kananaskis. And so that's part of that building there. And then you can't forget it, the last building being the Kananaskis Nordic Spa. So yeah, there's a lot going on. It's much bigger when you get out there and you're walking amongst the village and you think, oh wow, this is a pretty big place. Mm-hmm.
It's almost like its own little township, right? It's like it has its own culture. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you've seen? Like, I love the fact that it's family owned and operated, and
Mm-hmm.
it also there's you get this feeling of almost like family from the staff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you see is an opportunity for Calgarians to come out and explore?
Mm-hmm.
Like what do you see? What if you plan the perfect weekend
Mm-hmm.
for a family? What would that look like?
In Kananaskis, wow. I mean, that's tricky because everybody, some people want to get out and they want to go hiking. Some people want to get out and they want to go to the spa. I mean, the nice thing about Kananaskis, first of all, is that location and the distance that you have to go. I mean, an hour and 10 minutes to the airport, for example, but even less if you're maybe traveling from the south of the city. So you can get there pretty quickly. But my perfect weekend personally, or even a couple days out there would be, really getting out into the nature. I love backcountry sort of hiking and all the sort. Ribbon Creek is just down the road from Kananaskis, or from the lodge, sorry. And there's Ribbon Lake back there. That's probably one of my favorite hikes, actually. And I have hiked a lot of places, so that's saying something.
Yeah, 'cause you're out in Canmore, which is like the home of great hiking and biking. For anybody who's listening, where can they find, like online? Can you give us a little bit more information? And we will have all of the contact information in the show notes. And I would just want to personally put out there, like, I love the Pomeroy. I love the Pomeroy because I'm a family first person. Mm-hmm. And, meeting Ryan and talking about his wife and his children and how the entire family came together. Mm-hmm. And we didn't touch on the fact that the Pomeroy started back in 1941. Mm-hmm. So it's actually even just a little bit older than the club here.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And it's doing such an amazing job of reinventing itself to grow. It's international now.
Yep.
Okay.
Alyeska Resort up in Alaska, and it shows that one of the things that I love about working with this company is how invested they are. I mean, over and beyond like working with such a family-oriented company, it's phenomenal. Because you see the investment on a day-to-day basis, and you see that they want those places to really be the perfect destination, whether that be up in Alaska at Alyeska Resort, or in Kananaskis, or at any of our other properties under Pomeroy Lodging. It's great knowing that they have your back in a sense, and it's a family, especially Kananaskis. If you go out there, a lot of the staff, of course, are living out in Kananaskis, and it really is a big family out there. A lot of people are, you're really close. You're getting out and you're doing activities. You're hiking with your friends, and then you're going to work after. You're building close-knit relationships with these people, and you see that when you go there as a guest, and you're able to connect because you can. What I love is within this industry, and especially in Kananaskis, is you can go there and you can open up with these people, with our staff, and you can feel confident that you're going to get a human approach. The Pomeroy Lodging, when I first joined and I came out to Kananaskis, one of the sort of pillars, you could say, is they want you to be yourself. They want you to be that 4-diamond, that 5-star service, but at the same time they want you to bring with you your personality, and they want you to be able to talk about things that you're passionate about, and to bring that to the table, which speaks to the company, I think. Yeah, that family value.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've taken away. Like I said, we're going to have all the information on the Pomeroy in the show notes. If you have not been there, you know what? Take a day drive. They've got great hot chocolate. They've got great pizza. You don't have to be a guest at the hotel to go out and walk around.
To enjoy absolutely. Even to come and try that pizza at Forte Restaurant, for example, Or, if you want to have a little spa retreat, there's preferred pricing, for example, for the evening soak. We call it Twilight Soak. And that's from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you really want to experience it, there's nothing stopping you other than a little bit of a logistical drive, maybe about an hour away. And once you get out there, I think that, you're definitely not going to regret that drive. It's beautiful.
It's way better than the Deerfoot from mahogany to basically mahogany to Airdrie is the time it would take for you to be anywhere in the city to Kananaskis.
Yeah.
So
it's such a big part of Calgary, I think, having that so accessible and so close. Speaks to the history coming from Jasper. 4 hours from an airport is pretty far, getting out to Edmonton and whatnot. But being in Calgary, you're so close. You can jump out into the mountains on any day. Maybe go for an afternoon drive, and suddenly you're smack dab in nature.
Absolutely. Real quick, you had mentioned a gift shop. Can we get some of those unique brands? Because I remember there was a granola or something in the rooms that was all done locally.
Okay, yeah.
Can you buy the stuff that's in the rooms in the gift shop also?
You can buy a lot of those different items all in the gift shop, and actually at Market Cafe, those granolas, those are I don't know one thing exactly that you're thinking. What I'm thinking of is actually something we make in-house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so there's lots of options there.
So many options. So many options. Okay, so we just planned your Valentine's Day, your family weekend, your all those things. We are so blessed here in Alberta to have one of the most beautiful backyards globally.
Yes.
And
couldn't agree more with you.
And the Pomeroy Kananaskis is absolutely a gem within that backyard.
Oh.
So
I'm so happy that you say that, and I couldn't agree more. It's one of the reasons why I do what I do, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today on the Back to Business podcast. Be sure to visit calpeteclub.com, calpeteclub.com, to find out more about upcoming events, networking opportunities, and membership. If you are not already a valued member at the CPC, where we are proudly connecting and supporting Calgary's business leaders.